Hello everybody, it's 2025 and I'm doing a New Year's resolution, which I've started a month late, which is I'm going to review every single movie I see this year. And I'm going to use my camera a lot more during the reviews. The one and only movie I've seen so far this year is a buddy comedy starring Keke Palmer and SZA. It's the directorial debut of Lawrence Lamont, or Lamont, I'm not sure. It's called One of Those Days. Would I recommend seeing One of Those Days? Not really. Unless you're really interested in seeing the chemistry between Keke Palmer and SZA, which is very good, I don't really feel like this movie has that much to offer. The biggest compliment towards this movie I have is Keke Palmer. She's very charismatic. But I would say the more movies you've seen, the less you will enjoy this. When you've seen as many movies as a guy like me, it starts to become Matrix code.
I don't even see the code. All I see is blonde, brunette, redhead.
And what I mean by that is this movie sticks to the formula very, very strictly. And look, that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's a bad thing when it feels forced and unnatural, which this movie did at many points. In my Inside Out 2 video, or Pixar video, I talk about how in the movie Elemental, there's this really forced conflict between the two main characters where they're like, have to break up at the end of the second act, and there's like no motivation. It feels completely forced. It's one of my least favorite tropes because it's part of all of these buddy comedy movies or all of these romance movies, and it feels pretty rare that it's actually earned, and it's not like a story beat that the writers just feel like they have to do at the low point. Anyways, that happens in this movie. It's more motivated than Elemental at the very least, but it still felt very forced and unnatural. There's a scene in the movie where Keke Palmer is trying to get a job as a restaurant manager, and it's one of those things where you know exactly where the scene is going right when it starts. And the reason I'm so critical of movies being formulaic is because when you've seen something many, many, many times, it just becomes very predictable and you get bored because you're no longer an active participant in the movie. You're not really interested to what's going to happen to the characters. You know what's going to happen. You've seen it so many times before. And that's what causes movies like this to fail, at least from, like, the dramatic perspective. The comedy has nothing to do with this, and, overall for me was kind of hit or miss. The bulk of the film, the second act, is Keke Palmer and SZA trying to get money to make rent by the end of the day, and there's really no tension because you know that their attempts are going to fail because, you know what the second act's tension is, you know exactly that it's going to take until the beginning of the third act for them to succeed at this, and that's fine as long as, like, the hijinks of getting money is entertaining. For me, 50-50. There was one segment where they're at, like, a blood donation clinic with Vanessa Bell Calloway. She's really good in this movie. She really fit the tone of it. That sequence was pretty funny. It got a laugh out of me. I think I would have found it funnier if I weren't scared of needles, but, there's also, like, a sequence where they try to get a loan. That one was really unfunny to me. So the movie's pretty hit or miss comedically. The first half, where it was more focused on the comedy aspects, I enjoyed. The second half was really an eye roll for me because that's where it leaned into these dramatic plot beats that are just so overused and kind of made my eyes roll. Overall, I'm going right down the middle with this movie. I'm going to give it 2.5 stars. Thank you for watching. Tomorrow I'm going to post a review for Paolo Sorrentino's Parthenope, so subscribe to stay tuned for that and other reviews. In the description, I will have a link to a letterboxd list of my ranking of 2025 films I've seen this year. I will also have a link to a playlist of all my upcoming 2025 film reviews. There should also be a link right here, as well as a link to something else. All comments and ratings are very much appreciated, and that's all I have to say, so see ya.